The following is a fictional fan-made story created by Kurapika's Judgment Chain, and contains BXB, or GXG ships. Subscribe if you want, and like the video if you like the video. On an undisclosed resort, on an undisclosed island of Hawaii, because Hawaii is actually a collection of islands, Gonkalua Aluka Mito and Jing prepared for landing as the small plane they arrived on nears the airport. Aluka, in her window seat, peered out the window, taking in the landscape when she noticed a mountain with a hollow center. Is that a volcano? Is it? But don't worry, it's been inactive for a long time, so we should be perfectly safe. That just makes it more unpredictable. Mito looking uncomfortable. Kalua. Cut to the resort. Kalua is unpacking in his shared room with Gon, who just exited from the bathroom in his vacation attire. Kalua began laughing hysterically at the sight of his husband. Gon is wearing a red Hawaiian shirt, floral necklace, visor hat, and dramatically applied sunscreen. You look ridiculous. What do you mean? I look fantastic. Why are you wearing so much sunscreen? Because we're closer to the Earth's equator. Duh, the sun's rays are stronger here. Are you even wearing any sunscreen? I don't need it, I've never been sunburned a day in my life. Because you don't go outside much. Kalua is wearing a blue Hawaiian shirt, and no sunscreen. You need sunscreen. Gon picked up a nearby bottle of sunscreen and began walking towards Kalua. Come here, I'll put some on you. No thanks. I'm not giving you a choice in this, your pasty white ass isn't leaving this room without sunscreen. A chase shortly ensued as Kalua backed away from Gon, gaining speed as he began jump kicking himself off the walls to dodge the sunscreen attack as Gon followed closely behind. A knock on the door interrupted the playful scene. Kalua opened the door to Aluka Mito and Jing on the other side. Aluka is wearing a modest yellow dress and sun hat. Mito is wearing a red Hawaiian-style dress and matching shell earrings and necklace. Jing was given the same outfit from the Kilugan wedding video cause he was written into this story at the last minute. What's taking you guys so long? Everyone's waiting in the lobby. Gon's trying to force sunscreen on me. May I ask why you're so against it? I hate the way it smells, and it feels greasy on my face. I don't blame you, I can't stand sunscreen either. Aluka, help me hold him down. Okay. Huh. Gon and Aluka managed to subdue Kalua by each pinning down an arm and leg. Mito joined in on the sunscreen assault, using her free hands to apply sunscreen on Kalua's face, arms and legs while Jing stood by awkwardly. Now let's get Jing. What? After forcefully applying sunscreen on Jing, the group met with Kikyo Silva, Zeno Illumi Miluki and Kaluto at the resort lobby. Here's a short montage of their outfits with some appropriately themed island music.
The one, the one, con. The 2, 1, 2, the cunty, 1. The cunty, the con.
Father, grandfather, Miluki, what are you guys wearing? You look ridiculous. This was your mother's idea. I think you guys look great. So, what shall we do first? There's a lot of choices. We can go water skiing, parasailing, surfing, scuba diving, we can even explore the jungle. Technically it's not a jungle, shut up nerd. Mumbling under breath, it's a rainforest. Let's try surfing. You kids can do whatever you want, I'm getting pina coladas and a tan. That sounds lovely, I'll join you. I'm not interested in surfing, I'll accompany you ladies on the beach. What's wrong, Grandpa? Have you gotten too old for surfing? Excuse me for wanting to relax on vacation, especially when I do enough physical labor daily in my line of work. Zeno's line of work being an assassin. Cut to the surfing crew. After changing into swimwear, Gon, Kalua, Aluka, Kaluto, Illumi Miluki and Silva each stood at the shoreline with surfboards in hand. Miluki, you're going to surf? Yes, what about it? You're gonna sink like a rock. Kalua. Seriously, Gon, why did you marry this brat? And you know nothing about physics, kill, I'll have an easier time floating than you will. You assume I'm going to fall off my board. How about we make a bet? When you fall off your board before I do, you're going to write a 5,000-word essay on buoyancy and water physics. Sure. And when you fall off your board before me, you're going to jog around the entire island until you reach 5,000 steps. Deal. Kalua and Miluki shook hands to confirm their bet. With the beach crew, Mito, Jing, Kikyo and Zeno lounge on beach hairs under a ridiculously large umbrella, each with a tropical fruity alcoholic beverage in hand. This is the life. Mito slouched comfortably in her chair. Isn't it? You can see why I abandoned Gon. Zeno, how much would it cost me to hire you to kill someone? For family, I would do it for free. When are you available? Jing being silent. Zeno sipped his drink and let out a relaxed sigh. Who would have thought our families would get along so well? Mito, I see a hot back to your left. Kikyo pointed towards a shirtless man with a muscular back wearing a grass skirt. Oh my. Call him over here. I couldn't. Then allow me to be your wing woman. Kikyo don't owe hula man, yoo-hoo. Kikyo spoke loudly as she waved her hands in the air to attract the man's attention. The man turned around to reveal Hisoka wearing a lady's hula dancer's outfit. Aloha. Oh, never mind. Hisoka, what are you doing here? And what the hell are you wearing? Well, I noticed Gon booked a room in this resort and thought this place looked nice, so I decided to take a vacation of my own. How did you know we were coming here? Hisoka ignored Mito's question. So, where is Gani baby? Leave my son alone, Hisoka. Cut back to the surfing crew. Everyone sat on their surfboards on the ocean while waiting for a wave to pick them up. When do we get to surf? We have to wait for a wave to come. This is boring. It's not going to be like the movies Aluka, you can't control the wind. Aluka developed a mischievous expression. Father, I believe you just made a terrible mistake. I know what you're thinking, Aluka, don't do it. Aluka looked towards Kahlua for confirmation. Do it, sis. The ocean beneath their surfboards began to sway back and forth, indicating a larger wave heading towards them. As suspected, an obscenely large wave is on course towards the group. You ready to jog, Miluki? You ready to research physics, Kill? You guys ready to die? The huge wave picked up the group at tremendous speed and hurled them towards the beach as they attempted to stand on their surfboards. Cowabunga! The wave reached tsunami heights as it transported everyone back towards the resort, gaining mass and speed. Cut to the beach crew. Mito and Jing are arguing with Hisoka about his stalking behavior towards Gon while Kikyo and Zeno continued to lounge on their beach chairs. Your behavior is weird, you need therapy, why did you have to show up here when you bother my son almost daily? God forbid a man take a vacation. Zeno, I'd like to take you up on that family discount. Is it just me, or does the sky seem to be getting dark? Suddenly the sky went dark as the large wave Aluka created covered the view of the sun and crashed onto the beach with a heavy force, nearly breaking the bones of everyone caught under the water's weight. Nobody was seriously injured. After a few seconds, everyone slowly stood up with sand sticking to their skin. The beach was disheveled with umbrellas and towels being pulled out to sea as the water retreated back into the ocean. Chairs, and a few beachgoers, were slightly buried under sand. Everyone's attention was pulled towards Aluka, who broke the silence by excitedly jumping up and down. Let's do that again. Please don't. Aluka, you weren't supposed to make a wave that big, you could have killed someone. This is why we kept her locked up. Well, no one died, did they? A muffled sound of distress is heard from someone discovered to be gone head down in the sand with half of his body buried as his legs kicked wildly above him. Gone. Kahlua quickly dug Gon out of the sand. Gani baby, are you okay? I know, mouth to mouth. Gon spit out a mouthful of sand. What the hell are you doing here? And what are you wearing? The locals recommended it. Do you like it? No. Are we just going to ignore that Aluka almost caused a natural disaster? That was an amazing display of power, Aluka. Thank you. Well, Kill, you better get studying. Huh, the hell are you talking about? We all wiped out at the same time. Actually, Kill, I'm certain you fell off your board before Miluki did. That doesn't count. Our bet was to see who fails to surf a real wave, not Aluka's attempted murder on the entire state of Hawaii. Rude. That's not what we bet on, but I'll be gracious enough to let you have a do-over. Kahlua picked up his surfboard that was lodged in sand nearby. You're on. I'm going to go lay down for a while. Everyone but Gon and the beach crew decided to surf again, after rowing themselves back out to sea on their surfboards and waiting for a normal wave to arrive. Miluki and Kahlua both stood on their board to ride the wave, only for Kahlua to instantly fall off his surfboard. Cut to later in the evening. Everyone but Hisoka gathered for a meal at a large rounded outdoor dining table underneath a wooden canopy with sheer white fabric draped over. Torches stuck into the sand lit up the area as the sun began to set. Very tropical, very demure. I can't wait to try the local cuisine. Oh, and Kill, I'll email you some textbooks about water physics. Kahlua rolled his eyes. Not that I care, but where's Hisoka? He said something about getting ready. Getting ready for what? On cue, actual island appropriate music began to play as Hisoka emerged from behind one of the curtains, followed by a few women, all wearing the same ladies' hula dancer's outfit. Hisoka and the other ladies began slowly moving their hips in a circular motion while dancing towards the table. What the hell is this? I'm your entertainment for the evening. You're working, I thought you were on vacation. I volunteered, but if you see something you like, throw $1 at it. Hisoka danced closer to Gon, still gyrating his hips in a circle. Feel free to touch. I've lost my appetite. Let's think of this as torture endurance training. Cut to later in the night. Gon and Kahlua returned to their room after the meal. Kahlua plopped onto the bed and let out a long sigh. Today sucked. I lost my bet with Miluki, and I can't get the image of Hisoka dancing around in that ridiculous outfit out of my head. Gon exited the bathroom, still picking sand out of his ears. How about a massage? Nah, I don't want some stranger touching me. Gon chuckled as he straddled himself on top of Kahlua. Who said anything about a stranger touching you? Oh, I see what you're getting at. Gon placed his hands under Kahlua's shirt and slowly moved them up his torso, causing Kahlua to squirm slightly in a ticklish reaction. Gon then leaned down for a kiss. Growing impatient with Gon's gentle movements, Kahlua flipped Gon over onto the bed and positioned himself between Gon's legs before removing his shirt. Then of course a knock on the door interrupted the intimate scene. Kahlua begrudgingly opened the door to Aluka on the other side, accompanied by Kaluto and Hisoka. Aluka, is something wrong? There's ghost haunting the volcano. Kahlua looked towards Kaluto for answers. Hisoka told her about some urban legend. Aluka, why were you talking to Hisoka? You were told to stay away from him. Sis, there's nothing to be afraid of. Ghost can't hurt you. Who said anything about being afraid? We wanna go check it out. That's the spirit, Aluka. So you want to go into the rainforest, with Hisoka, at night, near a volcano? Kahlua developed an evil expression. I'm in. Cut to the resort lobby. Gon, Kahlua, Aluka, Kaluto and Hisoka met with Illumi, Miluki and Jing. Everyone else is doing their own thing cause there's too many characters in this story and I'm overwhelmed. Miluki, you're going into the jungle. It's a rainforest. Whatever. You know there's snakes and spiders there, right? Probably poisonous ones. You speak as if their poison would affect me. Oh right, I almost forgot that we're related. Miluki rolled his eyes. Hisoka, tell us more about this urban legend. They're called Huakai Po, or the Night Marchers. They are believed to be the spirits of ancient Hawaiian warriors who wander around old battlefields at night. Legend has it that if they're close by, you'll hear the sounds of their chants, drums, and the blowing of a conch shell. And why should we care about this? They're said to become dangerous when disrespected. When you encounter them, you're supposed to lay face down on the ground to show respect. Let me guess, you want to pick a fight with them. Hisoka made a perverted face, confirming Kaluto's suspicion to be correct. Hisoka, can we have one peaceful vacation without you trying to pick a fight with someone or something? Well, I wouldn't be itching for a fight if someone would just spar with me every now and then. I'm going to push you into the volcano. Cut to the rainforest. Hisoka gestured his hands towards a thin path that marked the beginning of the forest trail. This path is quite thin, so we should walk in a single file line in order to avoid disturbing the wildlife. Gon, you take the lead. You're walking in front, Hisoka. You're no fun. A few minutes of walking later. This pathway is really narrow. Did the Night Marchers create it? Possibly. No, Aluka, this pathway was created by humans and other animals walking in the same direction to the point where vegetation stopped growing because of the constant traffic. The Night Marchers could have contributed to the path formation. Can we just hurry up and get to the volcano? I'm surprised you agreed to a family vacation, Kill. Huh, why? I was under the impression that you hated us. I used to, but I decided to give the family a second chance, and you've yet to ruin it. What made you reconsider your grudge against us? Gon did. Me. You have a very non-judgmental and forgiving nature to you, Gon. And it would be nice to not hate most of my family. That makes sense. Gon is quite the ray of sunshine. When he's not crashing out. Gon's a great big brother-in-law. Ah, you guys. Gon does have the strongest and most attractive spirit. Everyone ignored Hisoka. Group hug, minus Hisoka. Hisoka frowned. I'd rather not. Aluka pulled everyone but Hisoka into a group hug. Everyone suddenly went quiet as the sound of incoherent chanting of many voices echoed through the forest, followed by faint drums and the horn of a conch shell. It's the night marchers. I highly doubt that. Dark shadows carrying flaming torches, spears, and instruments become visible as they move closer towards the group. Well, I'll be damned. Quick, everyone lay down on the ground. Everyone quickly laid face down on the ground to avoid aggravating whatever is passing by. The sounds of the chanting and drumming grew louder as the unidentified group marched closer. Vibrations from the stomping slightly shook the ground, indicating many large creatures walking in synchronization. Only once the sound had faded did the group stand from the ground and silently exchange looks of fright and amazement. They're real, Mr. Hisoka, you were right. Wait, where is Hisoka? Looking back towards the shadow creatures as they walk away, the group spot the outline of what appears to be a tied-up Hisoka being carried away. They took Hisoka. Kahlua and Jing began laughing hysterically. Shouldn't we help him? Everyone exchanged glances. Well, it's getting late, let's go back to the resort. Cut to the following morning, everyone gathered in the resort dining room for breakfast. Good morning, did you see anything interesting in the rainforest last night? No, we had to lay face down on the ground or the night marchers would have taken us away like they did to Hisoka. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. So the clown is gone. Well, about that. Good morning, everyone. Hisoka entered the dining room, seemingly unscathed. I thought you died. Mr. Hisoka, what happened? Well, the night marchers are indeed real. I allowed them to take me to their base near the top of the volcano. I easily broke free from the rope and began fighting, but they didn't have any special fighting capabilities, so I left and came back here. What a letdown. I was so excited. So was I thought you died. Did everyone sleep well last night? Mito awkwardly trying to change the subject. Yes. I'm sure you did after all the noise I heard coming from your room last night. Huh. How did you hear us? Illumin's room is next to ours. Kahlua made a face of realization, followed by disgust. I told you to ignore them, Hisoka. More awkward silence. So, what are everyone's plans for today? Murder. How about we go water skiing? Let's. Cut to later in the day, everyone, after changing back into swimwear, gathered on the beach to try water skiing. So, how does this thing work? Left hand is gas, right hand is brakes, and steering is common sense. Don't fact check me on that. Kaluto, let's share a jet ski. Okay. Don't go too far away. We won't, come on sis. Aluka and Kaluto hop on the jet ski and sped out into the ocean. Gon, ride with me. I'm going with my husband. Gon wrapped his arms around Kahlua after they got on their jet ski and followed Aluka and Kaluto into the ocean. I'll go with you, Hisoka. Hisoka smiled. But I'm driving. Sure, I'm used to you having your backside pressed up against me. Don't be gross. Hisoka and Illumi headed into the ocean on their jet ski. Kikyo and Silva left shortly after on their jet ski, leaving all of the single people alone on the beach, the single people being Zeno, Miluki, Mito, and Jing. Well, there's only 2 jet skis left, I guess I'll share with you, Mito. Jing looked towards Mito, who was getting on a jet ski with Miluki driving. Well, this is awkward. Can I drive? No. Cut to Aluka and Kaluto. Aluka is driving erratically, barely able to contain her excitement as she maneuvers the jet ski on top of the water. This is so cool. Please slow down. Gon and Kahlua parked their jet ski next to the girls. Aluka, don't throw Kaluto off the jet ski. Sorry. I'm glad you're having fun. Suddenly a large amount of water splashed them as Miluki, with Mito sitting behind him, parked his jet ski close by. You're a really good driver, Miluki. Thank you. Was the splashing necessary? I was just teaching you a little about water physics. Speaking of that, how's your paper coming along, Kill? I'll start it once the vacation is over. Miluki, look, we can do tricks too. Please don't. Aluka spun the jet ski in a circle, nearly throwing Kaluto off while doing so. Oh, what happened? We hit something. Illumi joined the group and parked his jet ski nearby, Hisoka nowhere to be seen. Hi. Where's Hisoka? He jumped off. On cue, Hisoka popped his head out of the water, holding his head in his hand, because he was the something Aluka hit with her jet ski. I was going to surprise everyone. Why'd you hit me, Aluka? We didn't mean to. That's what you get for being a creep. Gone, we're in the ocean, let's drown him. Kahlua jumped off the jet ski and lunged towards Hisoka, capsizing the jet ski and knocking Gon into the water. While doing so, Hisoka dodged the attack by hiding underwater. Meanwhile, with Group 2, Kikyo, Silva, Zeno and Jing are having a wonderful and peaceful time on their jet skis. Hey Grandpa, can I drive now? No. And don't call me that. Back to Group 1, Hisoka popped his head back out of the water right next to Gon, and gave Kahlua a mischievous smirk. Get over here. Killy baby, you're supposed to close your eyes while playing Marco Polo. I'm playing Drown the Clown. Magician. Hisoka, still behind Gon in the water, wrapped his arms around Gon and pressed his face next to Gon's. What game do you wanna play, Goni baby? Someone help me. Hey, get your hands off my son. Mito jumped into the water towards Hisoka, who slipped back under the water. Everyone get back on your jet skis, let's run him over. Hisoka popped his head back out of the water. Illumi, you wouldn't run me over, would you? Illumi revved the engine of his jet ski with an evil expression. Oh. Cut back to Group 2. Huh, I wonder where everyone else is. Suddenly the sounds of many jet skis moving at high speeds are heard heading towards them. Looking behind them, Group 1 is seen chasing Hisoka on their jet skis as he swims for his life. Unfortunately, Hisoka was unharmed. Looks like they're having fun. Cut to later in the day, after dinner, which I didn't bother making a scene of. Everyone separated in groups to do their own thing. Gon, Kahlua, Mito, Kikyo and Miluki went to the resort spa. Jing went on his own to explore the rainforest. Aluka, Kaluto, Illumi, Silva and Zeno went snorkeling, and Hisoka went to the first aid station at the resort to treat his mild concussion from Aluka hitting him with a jet ski. With the spa crew, Gon, Kahlua and Miluki laid on massage tables, getting massaged, while Kikyo and Mito got manicures, pedicures and facials with cucumber slices over their eyes. Now this is the life. Isn't it? I'm surprised you agreed to a massage, Kahlua. I was against it at first, but I'm in a great mood. Did you guys see how I almost hit Hisoka with my jet ski? The look on his face was priceless. Nothing brings people together like sharing an enemy. Wah. Gon jolted as the person massaging him suddenly grabbed his butt cheeks. Masseuse, you're meant to be massaging my back. Sorry, this part of you looked a bit tense. Seriously, Hisoka. Gon turned around after realizing that his masseuse was replaced by Hisoka. Kahlua and Miluki also sat up as Kikyo and Mito removed the cucumber slices from their eyes. Why didn't you guys say anything? Kahlua looked angrily between the staff. What? Gon's masseuse looked like she needed a break. Let me guess, you threatened the staff. I didn't. He did. Kahlua picked up a bucket of nearby hot rocks and began hurling them at Hisoka. I better go practice my hula dancing. I'll see you at the luau tonight. Hisoka skipped away merrily, still wearing that ridiculous hula outfit. Everyone sighed simultaneously. I wish the staff would just kick him out of the resort. Do you really think people like him would just accept being told to leave? Why not kill him? The writer won't let us. How about we do something that will make him never want to bother us again? How do you suppose we do that? I have something in mind. Cut to the luau. Everyone sat on logs that were placed in a square shape around a stone-rimmed fire pit with flaming torches scattered around for extra light. Music began to play as men and women in hula dancers' outfit danced around the fire. Does anyone want to dance with me? I'll dance with you, if you promise to leave me alone for the rest of the trip. Cross my heart and hope to die. Now hang on a minute, I'm not okay with this. Don't get jealous, Killy baby, we can all dance together. Come on, Kahlua. Gon stood up and took Kalua's hand and held the other one out for Hisoka, who happily took Gon's hand. Now all holding hands, they began to dance around in a circle. Kaluto, let's dance too. Okay. Aluka took Kaluto's hand and they began to dance. Silva stood and took Kikyo's hand as they too started dancing. Suddenly the music stopped and the fire in the pit and surrounding torches were extinguished by a strong gust of wind, practically blinding everyone in darkness as a drum continued to play. How strange. Just when we were starting to have fun. Don't worry, I'll restart the fire. After reigniting the flames, the group found themselves surrounded by 4 dark figures who began chanting incoherently as they slowly marched around the perimeter of the logs. You guys again. Night Marchers, what are they doing here? Don't worry, Aluka, these guys are powerless. Hisoka approached one of the shadow figures and laughed in a taunting tone. The shadow figure pushed Hisoka as its hand glowed a bright yellow, sending Hisoka back a few feet. Hisoka, I thought you said they were weak. We should get out of here. Aluka, take us home. You guys can go if you want, I've been itching for a good fight. Aluka teleported herself, Gon, Kahlua, Mito, Kikyo and Miluki back to the resort lobby where they all began laughing. Looks like he's falling for it so far. Quick, everyone get their cloaks on. I wanna get a few swings in before Grandpa Father Illumi and Jing beat him too badly. Here's a quick explanation of Gon's plan via flashback. Gon gathered everyone but Hisoka to discuss his plan as Hisoka was bathing in his room. Aluka, we're all going to distract Hisoka by dancing together. When you feel like he's let his guard down, create a strong gust of wind to put out the fires. Okay. While it's dark, Jing, Silva, Zeno and Illumi will slip away and dress up in dark cloaks. Kahlua, you'll wait for my signal to relight the fires. Zeno, you give off an intimidating aura so Hisoka feels compelled to start a fight with you. Alright. Aluka, you'll then teleport us away so we too can dress up in dark cloaks and join the others in smacking Hisoka around. Once he's weakened, we'll tie him up and bring him to the top of the volcano, making him think that we're going to throw him in. Then we'll reveal that it's us and he'll hopefully hate us after and never bother us again. So we're not actually going to throw Hisoka into the volcano. No. What if Hisoka instantly discovers that it's us? Even if he does realize it's us, he'll likely just go with it cause he's been dying for attention this entire trip. Hisoka wants a fight so badly, we'll give him what he's asking for. Cut back to the luau. Gon, Kahlua, Aluka, Kaluto, Mito and Miluki dressed in their cloaks and rejoined Illumi, Jing, Silva and Zeno, who already had Hisoka beaten and tied up. They carried Hisoka to the top of the volcano and threw him on the ground, inches away from falling in, Kahlua taking the liberty of kicking Hisoka in the stomach once he was on the ground. Are you going to throw me into the volcano, Gani baby? You knew all along, didn't you? You could have at least played along a bit longer. I was looking forward to you begging not to be thrown into the volcano. Everyone pulled down their hoods and revealed their faces. How'd you figure it out? I recognize all of your nen abilities anywhere. Hisoka stood up and easily broke free from the rope. You guys tricked me, ganged up on me, and made me think I was about to be thrown into lava. I didn't know you guys cared so much about me. That's not. Hisoka pulled everyone into a group hug. This was the best vacation ever. It really was. I've never seen my children work together so well. You really helped bring the family closer, Hisoka. Sharing an enemy really does bring people together. We're going to invite you on every family vacation from now on. How wonderful. I'm going to jump into the volcano. Hope you enjoyed this disaster of a video.